We are live, and we can see that the stock market logged steep losses today on the heels of disappointing August inflation data that served as a reality check for a market that bought into the peak inflation narrative. The major averages took a sharp turn lower at the open, and then moved sideways before geopolitical worries sent the market distinctly lower ahead of the close. Broad selling brought the S&P 500 and Nasdaq below their respective 50-day moving averages, and the S&P 500 fell towards the 3,900 level by the close. The initial sell-off was precipitated by hotter than expected inflation data, which challenged the peak inflation narrative. This fueled worries about the Fed's rate hike path. To that end, the Fed funds futures market is now pricing in a 32% probability of a 100 basis point rate hike at the September 20 to 28th to 21st FOMC meeting versus 0.0% yesterday, according to the CME Fed Watch tool. Effectively, then, the market is assigning a 100% probability to a rate hike of at least 75 basis points next week. That is 0.75%. Geopolitical factors further weighed on investors' mentality following a Reuters report that the US is looking at possible sanctions on China that would deter a possible invasion of Taiwan. This came after an earlier Reuters report today that said President Putin and President Xi will be meeting in Uzbekistan on Thursday. Thursday will be the 15th, and that they will discuss various matters including Ukraine and Taiwan. Bids fell by the wayside following this afternoon news item, and the major indices cascaded lower into the close, settling near their worst levels of the session. Separately, a fund manager surveyed by the Bank of America revealed the highest cash level, 6.1% since 2001, and a record low share of fund managers taking higher risk than normal. That extreme bearish-minded positioning is considered to be a contrarian indicator, but the stock market's performance was ultimately dictated by the disappointing CPI report and geopolitical worries. Treasury yields rose sharply in response to the CPI data. The 2-year note yield, which was at 3.5% before the release, settled at 3.76%. 10-year note yield, which was at 3.3% before the release, settled at 3.42%. The US dollar index also moved noticeably higher following the CPI report. It was up 1.4% to 109.86. Selling efforts were broad and orderly in nature in what amounted to a general buyer's strike. All 11 S&P 500 sectors closed in the red, with losses ranging from 2.5% in energy to 5.6% in the communication services. All 30 Dow components finished with a loss. There was a little discrimination as many stocks logged sizable losses. The Vanguard Mega Cap Growth ETF MGK closed with a 5.4% loss, and the Invesco S&P 500 Equal Weight ETF RSP closed with a 4.0% loss. The Russell 3000 Growth Index closed down 4.6%, and the Russell 3000 Value Index closed down 3.6%. Decliners outpaced advancers by 8-1 margin at the New York Stock Exchange and 10-3 margin at the Nasdaq. Energy complex futures settled mixed with WTI crude oil futures falling 0.4% to 87.49 per barrel, while natural gas rose 0.2% to 8.33 millimeter British thermal units. Looking ahead to tomorrow, the 14th, market participants will receive the weekly MBA mortgage application index. Prior result was negative 0.8% at 7 a.m. Eastern US. August PPI and core-CPI. Okay, these are the stuff that are going to come out tomorrow by 7 a.m. Okay, let's quickly jump in and see what's going on with Apple. Okay, Apple lost 5.87% in the regular session and is up 0.15 in this post-market session. Let's see whether there's any news. There's always some news. Okay, let's see what this is saying. Apple plans a new spot for ads in App Store by the end of the year. Let's see this one. Apple's global phenomenon joins ranks of the most celebrated comedies in history with back-to-back Emmy wins for Outstanding Comedy Series at the Sanford Primetime Emmy Awards. Okay, does that concern Apple? Okay, because Apple is a very important stock, so the broad economic news flows into its market. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, let's see what the market depth is like. Okay, for a big stock like Apple, you can see there is some aggression there, hence probably why we have this 0.17% increase in the price. So let's just quickly move on to the next one. That will be, next stock will be Ford. Okay, Ford lost 5.15% and is also down a further 0.2% in this post-market session. Let's see whether we can get any news for Ford. Okay, let's see. Okay, Ferguson said Tuesday it has entered into a collaboration project with Ford, under which it will have a F550 fuel cell prototype truck in service in its fleet operations for 6 months. Ferguson said the pilot program will allow it to assess how fuel cell technology works and also to provide vehicle data and feedback to Ford. The data will be used to find solutions for challenges like battery range and payload capacity. Okay, let's see. Ferguson is, I think this is a company, FERG. We're going to have a look at it. Okay, 80.617 million shares across the tape. Okay, let's see that Ferguson, FERG, Ferguson PLC. Okay, it's probably a UK company. Let's see, there's some more news here concerning Ford. Okay, Ferguson PLC announced a collaboration with Ford Motor to place a first of its kind F550 fuel cell prototype chassis walk truck in service within Ferguson's daily fleet operations. Let's see whether we can get more news concerning Ford. Okay, shares of US automakers down after data showed faster than expected rise in August consumer prices, offsetting gains from declining gasoline prices. The consumer price index gained 0.1% last month after being unchanged in July. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast the CPI dipping 0.1%. Tesla Inc., General Motors, and Ford Motors fell between 2.8% and 3.2% in morning trade. Ford, Tesla down between 13.6% and 28.8%, 28.3%. Okay, so let's look at other stocks. So the next one will be AKRO. Okay, AKRO Therapeutics Inc. gained 136.76% in the regular session and down 2.16 in this post-market session. So I think AKRO, let's look at the daily chart and we'll see what the underlying trend is saying there. Yes, I think also, yes, you can see that sometime from early July it began to rally. It had actually had a double bottom. This double bottom, 1, 2 double bottoms, and that was the beginning. After that second bottom occurred, we have continued to see the stock trend upwards. So the stock itself was rallying within, it was strongly bullish but within a longer term bearish trend. But today as well, also you can see it rose above its 200-day moving average of $14.37 on above average volume. So yes, before now it was actually improving, doing well. Yesterday it rose above its 50-day moving average. Today its 200-day moving average is what it rose above. So we have various supports of 22.26. 22.26 is not on this 1 minute scale. Let's look at it from here. 22.26 will be somewhere here. 22.26, somewhere around there. That's where we're expecting a support. That's the first support, or rather, yes, the first support. Then the next one will be around 20.58, 20.58, somewhere there, some 20.58. And then the next one is 18.91, 18.91, yeah, somewhere around there. And after that is 16.82, 16.82. This is a huge rally. The stock ran up. You can see that 136.76%. Let's get the news. But in any case, we also have a projection of 38.11. It hasn't, I don't think has ever really reached that sort of level, 38.11. Let's go all the way back and see what's been going on with the stock. 38.11. Well, it's actually inside 38.11. Yes, 40.03 was where it was in 2021, July 2021. Okay, so it's something it can reach. So that's our projection, 38.11. Yes, 38.11. That's our projection for AKRO. Okay, let's get the news concerning the stock. Okay, this is the late news. This came after the market closed. This is AKRO launches $175 million equity offering after shares more than double. Okay, And the news before that, there was a pre-market news concerning one of its drugs. It says here, AKRO Therapeutics, efruxifermin, phase 2B study meets endpoints for NASH treatments. Let's get that. Okay, AKRO Therapeutics said today that a phase 2B study of its lead product candidate, efruxifermin, met both primary and secondary endpoints in efficacy and safety in patients with pre-cirrhotic non-alcoholic steatohepatitis fibrosis stage 2 and 3. Stephen Harrison, the study's principal investigator, said data from the study among the strongest efficacy results reported in NASH. NASH is what did they call it again? It's an acronym for something, one of those things related to. Okay, yes, it's non-alcoholic steatohepatitis fibrosis. Yes. Okay. That's the news concerning AKRO. We have a target of 38.11, but there are a couple of supports: 22.26, 20.58, 18.91, and 16.82. Okay, it's down 2.31 now in this post-market session, and we move on to the next one, CMRA. CMRA. Okay, so the stock has now erased losses of yesterday, the 12th of September 2022. It is up about, it gained about 100%, yeah, and broke through its 50-day moving average of $2.46. The last time it was at such levels was on the 22nd of August this year, 2022. We have projections up to $3.8. 3.8 is somewhere there. 3.8 somewhere there. Before that, we have projections around in between that is 3.62. 3.62, let's get it. 3.62 somewhere there. 3.62, and after that we have 3.41. 3.41. 3.41. Let's see. Okay, so that's 3.41 is around where it is now. 3.17 has already exceeded 3.17. So CMRA gained 100%. Let's see what the news was. Whether we can get anything concerning CMRA. Okay, there might be some news concerning it somewhere. Okay, there was 58.809 million shares. That was what crossed the tape. Is it optionable? Let's see. It's not optionable. Okay, so let's see what's next. Next one is NRBO. NRBO is NRBO Pharmaceuticals. It also gained 100%. Okay, so we had a target of $0.65 yesterday, the 12th, which is equivalent to 19.50. That is with respect to the splits that they effected today, the 13th. We were saying in an earlier video that it might retest the highs of well, since we're getting things confused here. NRBO, no, sorry, exactly, yes. We were saying that it might retest the highs of this session 61.57, but it didn't happen again. So, but outside that, we have projections around way above where it is right now, $51, 53.09, and they are sounding really ambitious now. But in any case, our projection yesterday was 0.65, which is equivalent to 19.50. So that target has since been met as well. So as things stand right now, it is momentum is totally flat. RSI is not good as well. Let's get the volumes. 9.332 million shares across the tape. Is NRBO optionable? It is optionable, so it's optionable, but the options, they have not reflected the split that has occurred, or rather they don't have further, they don't have they are yet to print what is it called, further contracts beyond $7.50. Okay, NRBO, our target has since been met. Our target of 19.50 has since been met, but we have other more ambitious targets, 51.18. There's no guarantee that's going to happen. And let's look at the underlying trend. I think it's a bearish one. Okay, so the stock is now showing strength within a longer term bearish trend. It rose above its 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average, and 50-day moving average rose above the two of them. So the 50-day moving average is at 13.48. The 200-day moving average is at 23.68 for NRBO. Okay, let's look at the last one. The last one is ETNB. ETNB Bio Inc. gained 40%, up 1.14% in this post-market session. So the company has launched a 175 million equity offering after shares more than doubled. ETNB. Is this because are we getting things mixed up here? Is this company connected with AKRO? So 35.859 million shares across the tape. Okay, shares arrival. ETNB Bio finished a regular session on Tuesday, up 40% in the wake of AKRO's news, while another Nash drug developer, Madrigal Pharmaceuticals Inc., surrendered early gains and slipped 3%. Okay, so ETNB Bio is a rival to AKRO. So these two stocks are worth watching. AKRO. Yes, we have to keep a close eye on them. So ETNB up gained 40% and is up 1.57%. So yes, we have to pay a closer look at them. AKRO and ETNB. All right, so thank you all very much for joining this live session, and have a good night.